May 24th, 2024, Saturday night's main event is in the books, so let us talk about it. We're going to discuss it tonight. But first, some announcements. WWE announced a 3-show run in Atlanta in July with NXT, Great American Bash, WWE Saturday night's main event on Saturday, and Sunday, the return of WWE Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view event. So, the Great American Bash is an NXT show, but they didn't announce when that show will air. Last year, Great American Bash was a TV special. Sometimes it's a TV special. It's been a TV special pretty regularly, so I'm guessing it's also going to be a TV special for NXT. But Saturday night's main event will happen in Atlanta in July, on July the 12th, and July the 13th will be WWE Evolution. So, I guess people bugged and harassed Triple H and WWE enough that they're going to get the women's show back. Some people are going to complain about this. I will not. I do not care about what shows WWE runs and what shows they will not run. I don't care. The shows are too expensive. I'll probably never attend another wrestling show in terms of WWE again with these prices. But some fans are happy. You know, they're going to get their Lucha Libre show on June 7th. Worlds Collide is actually going to air on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that has something to do with pre-existing AAA contracts about, Peacock and all this kind of stuff. Plus, they haven't fully purchased the company yet. The buy won't actually take place until like the third quarter. So, technically, it's a co-promotion. They don't really own the company yet, even though they are in the process of buying it, of acquiring it. And they announced another match. They announced El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable. So, they're just going for banger matches when it comes to this AAA thing. It's a showcase for the AAA guys, essentially. So, that's ought to be pretty fun. Also, they dropped NXT from this. I think Lucha Blog noted that initially Worlds Collide was WWE, AAA, NXT. And the new logo just has WWE and AAA. So maybe they decided that there won't not be any NXT representation, which, who knows? Or maybe they consider NXT a part of WWE, even though AAA is also a part of WWE. Not, as officially yet, but it will be. So, I don't know. But Chad Gable versus El Hijo del Vikingo should be fun. Should just be a fun in-ring contest. So, a whole lot of news coming out of this thing. And there's a lot of people who are upset because Saturday night's main event is announced as being the same day as AEW All In Texas. And it's going to be at 8 o'clock, which is going to directly cut into All In Texas. I'm gonna guess that AEW will start their show earlier. Like if Saturday night's main event is at 8, if they start at 7, then they might be able to get some people to, hey, well, you already purchased the show, you're already in the middle of the show, you're not gonna turn away and watch Saturday night's main event, and just to give their fans something to feel, special about. But a lot of AEW fans, of course, are absolutely pitching a bitch because WWE is counter-programming All In Texas and then smothering them again with Evolution by doing a 2-show event that weekend, so they can't even move the show to Sunday. People think that they're going to run NXT the same day, which I don't know. It's a nice conspiracy theory because I know that they're running Worlds Collide the same day as Money in the Bank. So, maybe. They might. But we don't know. Alright, let's get into Saturday night's main event. It was a solid enough show. Worth talking about. Some things happened. We're going to start with match the first. The Palestine brothers, Sami Zayn and CM Punk, who both wore the pro-Palestine colors. I'm pretty sure folks are going to be very weird about this, even though there's no need to. They were defeated by Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins in a pretty good tag team contest here. Fast-paced, completely and totally destroyed by commercials. which of course broke the flow of the match. WWE is just 99% commercials now. Just a whole lot of commercials now. Braun Breaker gets the pin on Sami Zayn after CM Punk is absolutely destroyed by Bronson Reed, a returning Bronson Reed who smashed CM Punk through the barricade. So after that, Bronson Reed gets into the ring where Braun Breaker snorts and basically is like a pit bull and is going to attack Bronson Reed. And then Seth Rollins hugs Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman look like, look, Braun, he's with us. He's one of our supporters, Braun. Of course, the internet explodes with this idea that Bronson Reed, absolutely tried to murder Seth Rollins with 7 tsunami splashes. What's this about? Why are they on the same side now? Well, that's the thing storylines are written for. You try to figure this part out. But also, it was brought to my attention by some dorks, so I'm going to give the dorks credit. Bronson Reed was injured in War Games, and CM Punk took credit for injuring Bronson Reed. He said in a promo that he broke Bronson Reed's ankle. So that was sort of the seed that was watered by this situation here. So even though, yes, Bronson Reed did try to smash Seth Rollins into paste with 7 tsunami splashes, his most recent injury is something CM Punk was bragging about. So that seems to be the direction that they're going in. And Bronson Reed, I don't know about having Braun in your stable it being a good thing. A Bronson Reed and a Braun Breaker. I mean, it's almost nonsensical at this point. Now, Bronson Reed is somebody that Triple H likes and has been trying to do something with. And putting him with Seth seems sensible in the long run. So I'm going to go with, as long as they explain it in a way that makes sense to sort of explain away the heat between the two of them. Because Seth Rollins was the guy who was smashed. He was the guy who was being squashed. So if he's okay with Bronson Reed, why do we complain? It just needs to be explained why all of a sudden they're okay with each other, which I'm guessing they'll get around to on Raw. So it's fine as far as I'm concerned. Bronson Reed is another heavy for Seth Rollins, and I said before, Seth Rollins needs big guys with them. They're not tall guys, but they're big guys, so that's good enough. CM Punk tries to get back in the ring. Bronson Reed gives him a tsunami splash. Some people in the crowd were actually chanting one more time because babyfaces and heels do not matter in WWE. And the fans are absolutely absurd when it comes to wanting babyfaces to get murdered. So it's really unfortunate what we got here. But the match overall was very solid. I am laughing because you had Michael Cole calling this the Dangerous Coalition because he's been trying to avoid calling it a Dangerous Alliance. He can't just say Dangerous Alliance. He keeps saying Dangerous Coalition. Just call it a Dangerous Alliance, for God's sakes. Next, we got United States Championship, Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green, in a match that was very, very sloppy, especially from Zelina Vega. She botched horribly a 619. To her credit, she didn't try to do it again. She just said, "Yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, it is what it is." And she wins the match with a top rope code red. I don't know if she botched a 619. I don't know if I would trust her to do the code red from the second rope, but Chelsea Green did it anyway. She managed to bust Chelsea Green's nose with a kick. It didn't seem like an errant kick. It just seemed like it happened. But I think that kick might have been the botched 619 when she ended up getting kicked in the face. But the thing about this that really threw me off is both of them was dressed like All Might. They were wearing the same colors, blue, gold, and white. And Michael Cole is talking about how Chelsea Green is wearing the colors of the United States, which are, of course, red, white, and blue. But if you actually look at what she's wearing mostly gold and blue. What is he talking about? What is he talking about, really? But Zelina Vega, there's a lot of people who hate her, and I didn't know that. A lot of people hate Zelina Vega online, and she did not do herself a good service with her performance on this show. I know they didn't have a lot of time. They only had about 5 or 6 minutes. I think it probably went 8 at the most, including entrances. But she was not great here. And Chelsea Green, of course, lost again. You got to ask the question, when do we move on from Chelsea Green in this title picture? I'm sure the answer to that is never, because without her, how is it going to look? But, hey, I don't have a problem with Zelina Vega, but other people do. Next, John Cena defeats Ron Cena, a.k.a. R-Truth, in a mirror match where R-Truth came out to John Cena's theme song, used John Cena's moves, and still managed to lose. That just goes to show it's not the moves, it's the man. But the fans had fun with it because it was a fun little match. Cena dominated from the beginning with a clothesline, and as R-Truth was doing all of Cena's entrance stuff, the fingers and everything. And then he hit his 5 moves of doom, only for R-Truth to fight back, use Cena's 5 moves of doom on him, including an attitude adjustment. After Cena kicked out of the attitude adjustment, R-Truth put him in the STF, which is also pretty cool. Cena gets frustrated, they continue to work, and then John Cena goes and gets the belt. And R-Truth looks at him like, "You really gonna hit me with that belt, dog? You really gonna do this, dog?" And Cena, felt a little bit guilty, gave the belt to the referee. And while the referee's back was turned, Cena shook R-Truth's hands and kicked him in the nuts. Attitude adjustment, 1, 2, 3. Good little match here. There's nothing to complain about. After the match, John Cena gets the belt and hits R-Truth in the head with it anyway, before leaving the building or leaving the arena. At this point, this match served one single purpose, which is to continue John Cena's character arc. The character arc being that Cena is, what's the word? Is it struggling with his decision to end his career as a heel? And people trying to draw him back into the good side. He actually got cheered when he gave the belt back. So it's good toggling with the fans, good fan interaction. It's not making for great matches, but the crowd is very, very invested in what John Cena is doing. And Cena then approaches Jey Uso, which was weird, because he wanted to tell Jey Uso how embarrassing it would be if Jey lost the world title to Logan Paul while John Cena retires as the WWE champion. And he says that WWE's champion would be a YouTuber. And he said that's a lot of pressure for Jey going into this match here. I didn't like John Cena's performance in this promo. He still feels like he's playing a character. I don't know why he can't even at this point make it feel natural. He feels so synthetic. I hate this. I was 100% against him turning heel in the first place. And now we see why he never should have been a heel in the first place. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic. It sucks, actually. Jey Uso then has his match with Logan Paul, which was actually the main event of this show. And it was a solid match. It wasn't bad. The crowd was very much into it because it's Jey, and everybody hates Logan Paul. Jey Uso had the match won after a super kick that countered the buckshot lariat and some other moves that he had hit. I think a spear too. John Cena yanked the referee out of the ring, jumped in the ring, and attacked Jey Uso. Then Cody's music starts to play. Cody ran to the ring. He fought off John Cena. Logan Paul with brass knuckles. I don't know where the brass knuckles came from. He tried to hit John Cena with the brass knuckles. I'm sorry, he tried to hit Cody Rhodes with the brass knuckles. Cody Rhodes ducked it and hit Crossroads on him as well. Then spear, Uso splash, Jey Uso wins the match. After this, Cody Rhodes gets on the microphone and yells at John Cena that he's ruined wrestling enough and that they, meaning him and Jey Uso, will see Logan Paul and John Cena at Money in the Bank. Now, this, of course, runs contradict to what the dirt sheets had been saying for weeks, and that is that John Cena is going to team up with Travis Scott at Money in the Bank because Travis Scott is preparing to wrestle. And so the dirt sheets are like, oh my God, they saw everybody complain about Travis Scott, so they pivoted from Travis Scott to Logan Paul. I say, well, you can't really pivot from things unless it's announced. And since nobody knows what was supposed to be the main event here, how can you so confidently say it was a pivot? But overall, I think the match is pointless. Who really wants this Logan Paul, John Cena team up versus Jey Uso and Cody? Who really wants that? You know, why isn't Cena... I don't know, man. I get it. They're doing a Cena-Cody feud. They want to give Jey Uso the rub and put him in there with Cena. Give Logan Paul the rub. Put him in there with Cena. But, geez. I mean, this is the guy's last year. Why couldn't we find like a good singles opponent for him? After he wrestles Randy Orton, his next two opponents are R-Truth. And then a tag team match against Cody and Jey Uso with his partner being Logan Paul. I mean, just very bizarre booking. I don't think anybody's retirement has ever looked like this. Has a retirement run ever looked like this? I'm trying to... I don't know, man. Well, maybe usually when people do a retirement run, they do the full year. Cena's only doing select shows. So he doesn't have a whole lot of shows for you to waste. And Saturday night's main event against R-Truth feels like a waste. This Money in the Bank tag team match feels like a waste. Cody Rhodes getting 2 to 3 matches out of this run doesn't feel interesting to me at all. But okay, at least they're trying to do something different. And they're trying to get John Cena on that Money in the Bank card because Money in the Bank is slowly but surely becoming a top show for WWE. The Logan Paul Jey Uso match was solid enough. I don't think it was bad. I think they did a good job. And you know, the chaos at the end, I could do without WWE needing to overcomplicate the finishes of these matches. But they did this because I'm guessing they're going to run Jey Uso versus Logan Paul back. And they're probably going to do something else with these guys, which maybe is not a good idea. But also Money in the Bank is 2 weeks from now. So having, I guess, a ready-made storyline it just works, I suppose. But I'm not really feeling Cena as a heel. It still hasn't clicked with me. It didn't sit right in my spirit when I first heard it. Didn't sit right in my spirit when I saw it happen. The turn itself was great, but everything afterwards has been subpar. If par is 6, it's been at least a 3. If par is 8, it's been at least a 4. All right. So it's been half of what I expected it to be. Not very good, I must say. The fourth match on the show before the main event was Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a steel cage match. And this match was solid. It was okay, good match. A little slow because, you know, it's a big man style in WWE. They always work at a more deliberate, quote unquote, pace. Damian Priest was getting his shit kicked in through most of this match. And eventually, he grabs a chair and smashes it into the jaw of Drew McIntyre, smashed it in his throat too. Hit the South of Heaven chokeslam, then lays the guy's face on the chair and gives him a concerto, and then leaves through the door to win the match. And Jesse Ventura absolutely destroys the finish. Well, what kind of BS is this? I was like, oh boy, here we go. So Jesse Ventura is not happy. He said you got to go over the top. You know, I'm guessing in his day there was only the over the top rule. I don't understand why Damian Priest didn't pin him. Like, the guy's dead. Why didn't he pin him? Like, he clearly crushed his head with 2 chairs. He should have been able to pin him. But instead, he decided he was going to leave the cage and then leave through the door. Jesse Ventura shit all over the finish, called Damian Priest a coward. He walked away like a coward. And Michael Cole is trying to get a hold of this situation, but Jesse Ventura is having none of it. He is unhappy with the finish. And of course, this gets all the smarks like, yeah, he's absolutely right. Even though they don't like the idea of leaving the cage as a finish in the first place. And what a joke this is, right? But to be fair, Jesse Ventura, I think all the cage matches on Saturday Night's Main Event that there have been, especially the Hogan cage matches, it's been over the top of the cage. There's never been a through the door rule. So, but some people don't like the idea of escape the cage anyway, because of that framing that, you know, it's a coward's way of winning. And I agree. I think that I think it works for heels. I'm not sure it works for baby faces. And Damian Priest being a 6'5", 6'6" baby face and going through the door, it was supposed to give you a sense of my work is done here, and you leave the guy dead in the ring, which is what Michael Cole was trying to, you know, there's nothing more that can be done. You know, Drew McIntyre can't fight back. If this was a last man standing match, he would have lost. He was down for like 40 seconds, right? But that's not how Jesse Ventura decided to take it. And that's not how so many people who are choosing this I hate to escape through the door, I hate to escape over the top rope rule are going to take it. But it's all a matter of perspective. I look at it like he beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is not standing up when this match is over. So you can't in any way frame this as if Drew McIntyre was winning and then Damian Priest just slipped out. Like, no, he's unconscious. He's dead, right? There's no other way around it. The guy's flat. Okay, so it's a dominant win for Damian Priest. The news comes out afterwards that, a little before the show, it was announced that Drew McIntyre was still working with somewhat of an injured neck. And this is going to give him some time off. That's what the whole concerto thing was about. But he wasn't stretchered out, which I think would have been a better way to do this thing. Instead, Drew got up and walked out under his own power. Now, he was selling it, of course. It wasn't like he just jumped up like Austin Aries and walked out. He was selling it. But, you know, to keep his character strong, no doubt. But maybe he should have been stretchered out. That body would have been better. Now, you give Damian Priest this win, which I think is a good win for him. It's a good win for his character. Furthers him along. But my question now is, what's next? This big win over Drew McIntyre should equate to a big championship opportunity or something. But the champion is wrestling in a tag team match at Money in the Bank. Are they going to do Damian Priest after that? Are they going to do Damian Priest versus John Cena? To me, that would have made a lot of sense. You know, yeah, you don't have a lot of time to put that match together because of the Money in the Bank thing. But now you're just looking at Damian Priest, who, you know, killed Drew McIntyre, who was a top guy, not being on the next show and not having a feud. Because who else is there for him to feud with? Who are the top heels for him to work with now that he's beaten Drew McIntyre? What's next? And that's an interesting question, because is it Jacob Fatu? I don't know. Jacob Fatu is kind of a babyface and is kind of over as a babyface. So why would you put Damian Priest in that situation? He's definitely going to get booed over Jacob Fatu. So it's interesting. Maybe they do a draft and they move him to Raw and he ends up Well, hell, Jey Uso's a babyface. So, my goodness, what do you do with this guy? Now, I'm not saying that Drew McIntyre should have won. I think Damian Priest, this is the blow-off match to the feud. The babyface should win the blow-off match to the feud. But I'm just saying that now Damian Priest seems to be lost in the shuffle because you really don't have anybody ready for him. And then there's no open spot for him. And then there's no Money in the Bank spot for him either. So, what do you do? All right. The show was a respectable show, very solid. The top matches absolutely delivered. The Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn and CM Punk match was very good. Good match. The cage match was quite good. Logan Paul versus Jey Uso was respectable. And so was John Cena versus R-Truth. They did things. They had Cody return. They had Bronson Reed return. They, for some reason, decided to pair up Jey Uso and John Cena, which I guess makes sense as the top heel and the top babyface as opponents. I thought maybe the idea of Cena being the last real champion means that he wanted to be the undisputed champion, which that would be an interesting bit. It would lead to Crown Jewel then, right? Because it would be the Crown Jewel match, and that would be in October. So I don't think it'll be a title for title match. It'll probably just be one of those goofy Crown Jewel championship matches. And but Cena versus Uso in October sounds like that might be where they're going with this, and they're kind of building it right now and planting some seeds for it right now. So it's interesting. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.